key ways for you to differentiate yourself amongst all the providers and offer really key value that your clients will come back for and tell others about is the amount of education that you can offer them that helps them to rise above the situation they would have been without you. Today's episode is going to be all about financial wellness, whether you're in real estate, whether you're in financial advisory services, whether you're a lender. Getting and understanding financial wellness and being able to teach your clients about that will differentiate you in today's marketplace. I'm excited to have a special guest on today that's going to help us to better understand how you can implement more financial wellness into your core offering. The big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. All right, welcome back, everybody. Justin Stoddard here. Excited to be with you. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm excited to introduce today's guest. He has a deep background, over 15 years in financial services, then founded a company that specializes in helping, again, service-based professionals to gain acumen, expertise in teaching financial wellness. So today we're going to dive deep with him. His name is Vince Shorb. Vince, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me.
You know, it's there's a lot of industries out there, of which I've named a few, that try and differentiate on just speed or just price or using all of the same tactics that their competitors are using. And it's interesting how when all you learn is from your own industry, you actually can't be that different, right? And I see realtors learning from realtors, lenders learning from lenders, financial advisors learning from financial advisors. And it really takes a unique professional to see the value of stepping outside of their silo and gaining knowledge that is maybe different than what they're used to hearing. And when you do that, you set yourself up to really stand out. And then when you couple that concept with knowledge that the consumer really wants and needs and will really benefit from, now you're setting yourself up for a really great business. Vince, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into the financial wellness business.
Yeah, happy to. You know, when I was young, I had always an interest in money. Always was looking into real estate investing, the stock market, all that. And I got into some trouble out of high school, in college, just typical things, student loan debts, other things of that nature. And so I got into financial services really to help people and to help myself and learn the process of, increasing wealth and being financially stable. And I spent 15 years there. Very excited. Loved that time working with clients. And after a while, I got a little frustrated simply because I'd helped somebody really improve their financial situation. Let's say I refinance them. I drop their payments down by a few $1,000s a month after rolling in some of their debt. They're in good shape. I'd be very excited, write up a budget for them, send it to them, and be disappointed 6-8 months later when they said, "Hey, I'm 50 grand in debt again." I'm like, "What happened?" And they would say, "I bought a boat, went on vacation, did this." I'm like, "Okay, we'll do it again." 6-8 months later, the same thing. So I really felt there was a systemic problem that I wasn't able to address in my time, even though I was providing education, the excitement of providing that budget. And it really goes back to their knowledge about finances, right? And that was the bottom line where I wasn't able to address. And when we founded the company, it was really focused just on youth, teens and young adults, to help them avoid the problems I went through and many others do. And that's where habits form, and that's where the big mistakes happen. And since then, we've expanded. We've been in the industry almost 2 decades now, and we've expanded to serve all ages, which is great because people across the board need help and support. And that's when the National Financial Educators Council mission is really to increase the access to quality financial education and help them work toward financial wellness. As we talked about before the show, I consider everybody in the real estate space, mortgage, realtor, financial advisory space, part of the mission, because you're providing a service that can help people work toward financial wellness. So again, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you. It is interesting how oftentimes these we can give people band-aids of products and services, but if you don't fix the core, right? And it's maybe the metaphor of while many are chopping at the branches, one's chopping at the root, right? What I hear you doing is actually going to the very core of people's financial decisions and giving them new knowledge, right? People can have like their beliefs about the way the world works will continue to guide them. And until those beliefs align with a knowledge of true principles, it's fascinating of how many times they'll continue to go back to doing the exact same things that they've always done. You have to realign those beliefs, what they think is real, with what's actually good for them financially. And so I love the mission that you guys are on, and that you're taking it to not just consumers directly, but you're actually educating professionals, real estate agents, lenders, financial advisors, et cetera, on how to implement and integrate this unique knowledge into their practice. Because I do believe that there's more and more information out there all the time, right? AI is increasing that, but knowledge is different, right? When people can actually take information and act upon it and do something with it and actually better their own lives and the lives of their clients, that's unique. And that's going to continue to be unique. Just gathering information from around the web and more nifty and crafty ways is cool, but those that can act with it and help others act with it, that's really where it gets to be super powerful. So I think the mission you guys are on is great.
Yeah, and I feel, the mortgage professionals, the realtors, they're actually frontline educators, right? A lot of people, you remember, have no idea how to go through a mortgage, how to buy a home. And those realtors, those mortgage professionals, they're the ones that are educating them in many circumstances. So your role already is that of an educator. And what we try to do is enhance that to make it part of somebody's brand. So there's that comfort level of talking with somebody that can educate them as opposed to just sell to them. Also, as you mentioned in the beginning, provide that differentiator. So when you're evaluating the 10 different mortgage brokers you're looking at, and they're just all competing on rates and terms, you have something different, which is value alignment with a cause that I believe in, which is improving financial wellness to strengthen the country.
Yeah. It is. By the way, this episode is brought to you by Pro Insight, which is home of the wealth advisory team. So I just want to give a shout out to Pro Insight, which I'm the CEO of that company. And one thing that we've realized in our mission to really bring the wealth advisory team to professionals so that they can bring it to consumers, it became very apparent to me. I was actually talking with a friend of mine. His name was Grant. And Grant shared with me, he said, when is the real estate industry going to change? And I said, what do you mean, Grant? He knows that I've been coaching real estate agents for a long time. And he said, well, I called up my real estate agent and I told him that I wanted to buy another property. I told him what property I needed the door opened. I told him how much to put on the contract. He wrote the contract and we're closing, and he and the other agent want to collect $30,000. But he said, I'm sorry, like that isn't that value. That's not worth $30,000 worth of value. And so Grant in that moment had resentment, right? Like, why am I paying this much money when I did all the work, right? Now, we also know that that's not a common day in the life of a real estate agent, right? Those of us that have been on the other side of it realize that that's not always what it looks like, is people calling you just saying, open the door and write the contract for this much. However, I think Grant brings up a really good point, is that with a void of adding additional value and insight and knowledge and education, people will continue to see the value that a real estate agent or any of those other professionals bring to the table as insufficiently equal to the fees that are being charged. I told Grant, I said, well, let me tell you what we have at Pro Insight are doing. I said, imagine if you were to take, if that real estate agent would have stopped and said, why don't we bring together your financial advisor, your CPA, your insurance agent, your lender. Let's have a quick huddle and just be sure that we're putting this deal together correctly through the lens of everybody who has your best interest at heart. And he stopped and he said, whoa, that would be really valuable. So what we're doing again is we're building wealth advisory teams that allow these professionals to work collaboratively together. And it was so interesting how just in a matter of seconds, one small change in how these professionals approached the client, they went from resentment to wow, like raving fan status, right? And it comes down to the education. It comes down to what you're talking about, is this financial wellness of having somebody be able to kind of, give you insight where you're not just opening a door, you're not just acting as a functionary, but you're really acting as a fiduciary. And so, I can see.
Yeah, and one of the big things of financial education, a big pillar, is the building of teams, right? The building of those people you need to make these more advanced decisions. Not always just providing education, it's nurturing and pulling people together. And also, I feel financial education brings a great asset to bring to these teams. So if you have those financial advisor referrers, those CPA referrers, those title companies, and other groups that are referring people to you, if you can put on financial education programming or provide newsletters or have some education elements to what you do, that can help everybody nurture the same people, and you all benefit from that. But I love that idea. And I heard you talk about in one of your recent podcasts, a shift from transactional person to a relationship person. So I think just wanted to reiterate that struck a chord with me. And I think that's a key thing, especially in today's market, that relationships are key to drive and grow business moving forward.
It's interesting. As I was authoring the book, The Upstream Model, I interviewed a lot of financial advisors to see what kind of opportunity was available for real estate agents to get referrals from them. And there was a total disconnect because they realized that they had as somewhere around 18 referrals per year that they could be referring to a real estate agent. And as I began to ask how many of those 18 were being sent to an agent, the answer was almost unanimously, well, 0 of them. And my question was, why not? Like why are you not? And one of the key distinctions that I uncovered was that real estate agents have past clients and financial advisors only have clients. And so when you think about that distinction, there's definitely a chasm, right? Between you're over here, you serve people for 3 months and I serve people for their lifetime. Like we're kind of apples to oranges. We can't really, refer each other. And so part of the work that, that we're doing is helping to take people who are normally transactional in nature and helping them to be relational, not just in being more friendly, right? Or having better drip campaigns. That's not what we're talking about, right? And that's the industry answer to that is, well, they'll just put them on a longer email campaign. No, that's not it, right? It's actually seeing their financial interests after the transaction closes and continuing to consult with them and continuing to give advice to them. When you actually take an interest, not just from a marketing standpoint, I have an interest and I'm putting you on a drip campaign, but actually I genuinely keep in contact with you to give you, in your words, right, financial wellness insight moving forward. Now all of a sudden everything changes because you're very relevant in working like me, right? As a real estate agent, you work like me as a financial advisor, and that we continue to serve the client for the life of the client. And when agents do that, they really start to stand out from the competition in a really big way. You're not just learning from everyone in my industry and kind of, just kind of playing the commodity game. You really start to absorb insights and strategies that are you learn from other industries. Therefore, other industries are more likely to partner with you and bring you to the table when their clients have needs.
I agree. And the risk of providing a referral is huge, especially in the example you mentioned, a financial advisor who it's a lifetime client. If you refer them to somebody that isn't that high quality or offer something different, nobody's going to want to refer you to if they know they're just going to get rates and terms on the call. Okay, hey, this is what it is, bye. Yeah. But if you're providing education, maybe workshops, maybe just added webinars or whatever, that's educating clients on that home buying process or that refinance process. If you have a solid brand, when people look you up online, they see not only your website and LinkedIn, but they're seeing the front page of Google and multiple pages taken up by what you're doing for the community, what you're doing for education, and how your brand is really financial wellness. Now the risk of referrals go down because it's not going to be a yes or no conversation. They're not going to refer you, oh, I can't qualify now. Okay, I'm done. It's going to be, hey, I'm going to nurture you and help and support you until that time and place that you're ready. And during that process, I'm going to educate you. You can see how different I am by just looking me up online. So that risk of referrals goes down significantly for them. And it just aligns with the upstream model. If you have a good brand in place, something different to provide than the regular average mortgage broker, realtor, whomever, it's going to help you stand out, differentiate you, and open up these referral opportunities.
Well, I think it gives consumers the feeling that they're getting an equal trade, right? I think nobody feels good about when they feel like they paid more than they got, And I think that's what's happening in part because of the rise of big tech and these big portals that are offering kind of the tip of the iceberg information. And then consumers think that that's all the value that these professionals bring. And yet they're still taking these large fees. And it's like, what am I? That just doesn't feel right. I'm not going to pay that, or I'll pay it, but I'm going to resent it. And when you can, to your point, bring in real knowledge and education around that transaction that supports making decisions and kind of restructuring the way that it's done, people feel good about that. They're okay paying for knowledge as long as they see that there's or they're okay paying for service as long as they realize that there's enough value there to offset that, right? And even create a return on that. That's where professionals, in my opinion, get really um, kind of untouchable, is when the fee, everybody sees the fee, there's a massive return on investment that I'm going to pay you this much, but I know because of the advice and knowledge that you're going to give to me, like that will save me 20, like 200% more than that. Right now, all of a sudden, it's like your fee is irrelevant, right? It's almost like I want to pay you more because I know there's going to be a return there. It's an investment, not an expense, and that changes the game for everybody.
Yeah, I'd agree there. It shows commitment. When you're educating, it shows you're committed to them and helping them work toward financial wellness. And I know, hey, mortgages, and myself included back in the day, it's like, okay, it's more, hey, I'm just serving them right now. But when you're able to nurture them, it's building that long-term relationship for the next refinance, for the next referral from a client, right?
Yeah.
So all these things play into it. Now, I feel like, just being in the mortgage industry, being in the realtor industry, it's a big piece of a cornerstone of helping people, reach that point in their life where they're financially secure. If we look at how many people reach financial security through real estate, that's a huge percentage. So yeah, I want to broaden everybody's concept of what you're doing. It's a very important role, and to consider bringing in those educational pieces that can really help you, show people in very clear ways that you're supporting the community, that you're providing education. And sometimes you don't even need to provide it. You can partner with organizations that are providing that, sponsor organizations that are providing that, to associate your brand with that and give your clients ways to get that education. As you mentioned, technology today makes it easy for those drip campaigns and other things that will help to round out that brand. But maybe even something that's adding a simple monthly webinar, right? Or something where you can engage people, or checking in with them personally when you know their financial situation. Let's say their credit's bad. They contact you, they have a 480 credit score, right? Back in the day, you would try to give them what to do in 10 minutes and hope they contact you back. But nowadays, there's ways to nurture that. If you know somebody's specific problem, you can target that through education, and now it gives you the right to check in. For example, if I knew somebody's credit score is 480, I didn't do anything. I checked in with them yearly and said, hey, how's your credit doing? They may or may not tell me. I haven't built that relationship. But if I knew their credit score was 480, I gave them educational lessons that were targeted to them, even if it's autoresponders that were targeted to their specific needs. Now I've built up a relationship. Now when I check in, I've earned the right to say, hey, how's your credit? What can I do to help you? What's the next things you need to improve? What are you working on? And I can have a much more deeper relationship because I earned trust and I provided value to that potential client.
So good. Vince, tell our listeners how they get in contact with you and really what you offer in providing unique financial wellness knowledge that will differentiate them from the average status quo professional.
Yeah. You can reach us at financialeducatorscouncil.org, or my profile on LinkedIn, Vince-Shorb, SHORB. And we really provide people in the financial service space three core things. One, resources to provide education to those you serve. So it's the resources, material that will educate and nurture those leads and help hopefully build that client and deepen those relationships with existing clients. Second, we provide sponsorship opportunities if you want to support your local community. So if you have a targeted community that you're really trying to build out, we provide donations and promotions and build out your brand so you're front page of Google in a good way, aligning with financial education. And then the third way is just overall, we're trying to collaborate with people in this industry. Again, I see us all in the same goal. You might be in this service-based area. We're in more education, but I think everything that we're doing together, it's helping people work toward greater financial wellness. So just connect with us. We'll look forward to pushing this movement together with you. And really one of the core components is bringing this into schools and helping those youth proactively plan out their future before they call you and say, hey, I'm $50,000 in student loan debt. I have bad credit, no money saved, and I want to buy a home, right? And then you have to go through that process. We want to help avoid that, so you're getting good quality leads that know, hey, that process, what you need to qualify, and it makes the process much smoother.
I love it. It's a great mission. Not only service to service professionals like we serve, but also to communities. So yeah, everybody wins when you've got a community full of people who are financially educated, right? And are committed to financial wellness. It's good for everybody involved. So Vince, it's been a total pleasure. In our last just couple minutes here, I have one final question for you, which is a question we ask everybody that comes across the Think Bigger Real Estate stage, which is this: you are a big thinker. What is it that Vince does to continue to be a big thinker, to continue to expand your possibilities, to continue to grow? What does it look like for you?
Even though I'm not a very patient person, it's to practice patience in that things take a little bit more time to set up, a little bit more money to do, and just to continue working toward that. With any big thinking plan, it's going to require time, dedication, and effort. If you're not willing to commit at least several years toward that goal, toward achieving something, why would you even be involved, right? Because things take time. It's a competitive environment. And just working through that. If you have a vision, you have a goal, you have a vision for what you want that future to look like for yourself, your family, and your community, it's going to require that time and dedication. So don't give up on things too quick. Keep pushing forward.
I love it. Great perspective. Anybody that's built anything great we're nodding our heads saying, yes, things take time. And most people aren't willing to wait, right? Going back to kind of the status quo service provider. People want quick fixes. We live in a microwave society. So I love that advice coming from somebody who's built a great organization, multiple great organizations. We appreciate that insight. That again, if you found your thing and your fingerprint on the world that you want to leave, it's going to take some time. So don't turn back just because it's taken longer than you thought. So Vince, appreciate that insight. And thanks to everybody listening here today. And my final request is this: go think bigger. Vince, again, thanks for helping us do that today, my friend. Honest, hearing good ideas is not enough. You have to apply them in order to get the results desired. If you found value in today's episode, then you're really going to love the community of big thinkers and high achievers that we are building in order to help you to apply the principles taught today. If you're not yet a member of Think Bigger Real Estate on Facebook, go sign up now.